All right, so hello and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm here on my couch.
I'm here on my couch. We're remote this time.
Yeah, and now we're actually
God,
remote
okay. Being
doing.
extra diligent. That Delta variant's ruining everybody's fall plans.
Yes, don't want to ruin any fall plans for all those fall
Something.
lovers.
Yeah, I think something special is happening in the fall, isn't it, Dan?
Uh,
You're getting some more beef.
yeah,
Dan, the beef's getting beef.
getting beef, going back to work, all that fun stuff.
Hell yeah, Dan. How
Yeah,
are you doing this week, man? Talk to you in a bit.
yeah, doing good. Getting ready for my fantasy football drafts for NFL and keeping up with the
That's coming up
CFL.
quickly.
Yeah, coming up.
Can't forget the CFL. How's week 2 doing for you?
Week 2 is good. If anyone was listening, Daniel Braverman, over 13 points for 2,500 points. Woo!
Fucking sleeper.
Yeah, if you want to make some money on DraftKings, keep watching. Betting on the CFL now. Take advantage of it.
Expert Dan the Beef from Couch's Corner podcast. Listen up. Best in Canada right here.
Yep. Yep, and you will make some money. I'm already making some money. Start
Yeah,
off with $2. I'm already at like $10, so it's great.
that's like 500% upgrade there, Dan.
Yeah. Yep. Just getting there. So,
The great thing though about this is that we get to record this before the week, so that when you say your lineup, I can just change my lineup to whatever you put, and
yeah.
then I'm winning also just the same as much as Dan is.
Yeah, last week when I found out Michael Riley was starting, I really wanted to change my defense, but just because we already recorded, I couldn't. I had to stick to
Hey,
my guns.
that's continuity. That's an honest man right there. And you still won. You're 2-0.
Yep, still there, still doing well.
Yours
So
truly got it. Cheers.
there you
Number one
go.
on the board.
First win, good.
Hell yeah.
For the CFL though, big news: Bo Levi Mitchell is hurt, so Michael is coming in. I think was it O'Connor? Michael O'Connor's coming
Yes,
in.
and he's on the 6th game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Go Levi.
So he's worth 5,000. He's a pretty good deal, but it's going to be tough to get consistency from a backup. So now's a good time to play against Calgary, such as the Montreal defense.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, quarterbacks this week not the greatest of pickings. I mean, Hamilton's also on bye, so it's already a little more slim. So maybe take O'Connor.
Yeah, he's save up there and stack up on running back or receiver. Those are really good options there. But without further ado, so we can get into the NFL talk, I'm going to go through my lineup for this week.
Let's hear it, Daniel.
All right, so first off, I have two different options. One, if John White is out, which he might be, here is my lineup. So we have Vernon Adams as the quarterback. Kadeem Carey, I think he's going to carry the load in Calgary with some easy catches, I think, to settle the quarterback in.
Nerves.
Yeah. AJ Willett, who is the backup in Toronto if John White is hurt, he's 4,500 or 3,500. I forget.
Ooh.
Let me just look. 35.
Looking spicy.
Yeah, and then I have Lucky Whitehead from BC.
Yes,
Darrell Walker, Edmonton. I played him all 3 times so far, so I got to keep going.
As your guy. Hey, you're 2-0, so you can't stop now.
And then before my new sleeper, I'm going to talk about the Montreal defense playing Calgary. Pick them. Very cheap. You have to do it. 32.28. Just an extra 28 than the other cheapest. And then my sleeper is going to be in Saskatchewan. You can pick 1 or 2 receivers. I'm picking this guy because he looked to be pretty dominant. Braden Lenius. In Saskatchewan. You can also pick Picton. Picton or Lenius, both 2,500. No, just Saskatchewan. I forget his first name. Michael Picton, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah. So both of these guys are starting, and Shaq Evans is on the IR for 6 weeks, I think.
Oh, another 6 game, eh? Everyone's dropping like flies.
So Braden Lenius and Picton, both of them have a touchdown so far. One per game kind of thing. But Lenius has a good 11.3 .35 fantasy point average. So I'm sticking with him. Picton is also a good option. Got a touchdown. Was it the first game or the second game? But either way, going to get a lot more playing time with the injuries there. So
For sure, yeah. Braden Lenius caught all 5 of his targets last week for 60 yards. I'm not too sure if you had mentioned that, but hell of a week for him, and he should be seeing a bigger role, especially if Shaq Evans is out.
yeah, he looked better than Williams-Lambert, so I'm worried about him. Started him last week, wasn't a fan, so I'm going to go the other way.
Interesting. Well, that's a good segue into my lineup, Dan. I might as well just start with my wide receivers because Jordan Williams-Lambert's on my team, sitting at 4,049. I think I'm actually going to be kind of joining you. I did guess your sleeper, though, to be fair, Dan dropped a couple hints. I did put Lenius in there at 2,500. I mean, it's the catches because it is PPR in the CFL in our fantasy. So adding him at 2,500 is going to be quite the steal. But I think Jordan Williams-Lambert, I rode him last time we had before COVID. I think he's going to come back. I'm also running Lucky Whitehead with the tandem of Michael Riley against Edmonton. I think the Elks are actually looking pretty shitty. They had the power rankings out. I can't believe that they had Ottawa below Edmonton.
Wow.
I thought Ottawa. Yeah, they had Ottawa 9 and Edmonton 8. Hamilton 7. They made a case for Hamilton being last. I tell you, they look good. But I thought Ottawa looked all right last week, and definitely better than Edmonton. So I'm going to run with BC against the Elks. I'm going to also start for running backs. I'm going to do William Stanback against Calgary. And I'm going to do, as for now, I do have John White in there, but that could very well change if he does end up being out.
Nice.
And then who knows what my lineup, if he's out, that's 8,000. My lineup might be completely different.
Yeah.
But
so same with me.
No D as per usual. And Dan, you run a D? Did you say that? No?
Yeah, Montreal D against Calgary.
Okay, so Dan, I mean, you're looking at the guy 2-0, start D every single week, and the guy that's never played D and he's 1-1. So you follow who you want to follow. But those are our lineups for CFL Fantasy week number 3.
Yeah, so Stanback is the other guy I would put in if Willett isn't playing. So that's what I was going to talk about. So I don't have to now. So perfect.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to steal your thunder there, Dan.
It's perfect.
Okay, excellent.
So now we can talk about the NFL. Big NFL season coming up. Fantasy football. You want those picks. You want those tough choices made for you, basically. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that for you.
Exactly. Hey, the clock, nothing instills fear inside of you. Like when the clock comes to your decision, your pick, and you've got 2 guys sitting there that you really like, and you're just kind of like, oh, you're flipping the cushion back and forth. You don't really know, should I go with this guy or my gut's going with this guy? You pick the wrong one, you end up in last place. You pick the right one, you got a championship sitting on your mantle. So we're here to discuss guys that are similar ADP, but he's going to take one guy, I'm going to take the other guy. We're going to give our reasons why we're taking them, and I'm going to win. Not him this time.
Perfect.
It's going to be me.
So I'm going to convince you why I'm correct. Where do you want to start, Connor?
Well, you know what?
Receivers, running backs.
Yeah. Let's do the wideouts. Let's do wideouts of the day.
All right, so we'll start with the top 2 receivers, in my opinion. I think a lot of people's opinions. Should you pick? It's up to you. You're at, like, I don't know, let's say 10th pick, 9th pick, 11, 12. Who do you take?
Like if you're end of the round 1.
Yeah, Tyreek or Devontae?
What? Not DK Metcalf?
He's not top 2.
This is what we talked about, Dan.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm speeding the drum for DK.
Well,
no, we're talking Tyreek, Devontae. I'm just a homer. Pick DK number 1. You're gonna win. But Dan's going to be taking the side of Devontae Adams. I'm going to be taking the side of Tyreek. To be completely honest, almost it's a flip the cushion, but I side with Tyreek a little bit more. He sides with Devontae a little bit more. We're going to dive into why we think that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with these top picks. It's just about who can possibly help you a little bit more. Who's gonna be better, right? We're not saying one of them is a bad pick, but why should you take one over the other? I think Devontae, because Aaron Rodgers is back, and now he's soaring back up the draft board because Aaron Rodgers has his guy back. Green Bay is looking to head right back to the playoffs, hopefully a Super Bowl, right? He wants to get Clay Matthews back, get this whole team back. He's really in to win now, and Devontae Adams is going to benefit from that.
That's not a bad start, damn, not a bad start. But are we forgetting who the hell we're dealing with? It's Tyreek Hill. This guy runs an insane 40. He can stretch defenses, and you got a cannon of an arm with Patrick Mahomes. This offense is absolutely unstoppable. I don't care what you talk about, the gold zone with the Packers, the last dance, the stuff with A-Rod and Devontae. It's Tyreek Hill's number one on the list for a reason. The dude is just an Adonis. Nearly 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, and still missed a game. This guy's the number one look at the team. I mean, I know you got Kelsey there, but it's this guy. You just put him in the slot. You can put him out wide. You can do anything with Tyreek Hill, and you're tied to the best quarterback of the game. It's Mahomes. It's not Rodgers. Let's go.
He's got to contend with Kelsey, like you said, and they can't all get all the points. And I think Kelsey benefited last year.
Cobb's going to be stealing some catches? You don't think Randall Cobb they just traded for, and Houston's taking all the money?
I'm not scared of Marquez.
Chicago Bears fans that are weeping now that Randall Cobb's back into the fold. You know that one video of the kids crying? There's like 3 minutes left against the Bears. They're down. Rodgers hits Cobb again. The kids like throws the blanket. Yeah. I think I might have talked about it on the pod already. Yeah, that is. I mean,
that was also back when Randall Cobb was the number one receiver in fantasy and would get more points than quarterbacks.
It's not 2013, Dan?
I guess not. Back when I trade DeMarco Murray for him straight up way back when. Good times.
Yeah, but he was such an upright runner. The guy, come on. He was never going to last long, DeMarco Murray. We knew that. Look what happened when he got to Philly.
Oh, yeah. It was great. Good trade. Good trade for me.
Loves him.
Either way, so Tyreek has a lot of mouths to feed. Mecole Hardman's coming up big. DeMarcus Robinson's coming up big. It's going to be hard there. I think Green Bay, the receiving options, just him, and then a huge gap, and then wide receiver 2, 3. I guess Randall Cobb is going to be in that convo as the third, but Aaron Jones.
Did you say Robert Tonyan? Did you mention him yet?
I did not mention him yet.
Come on, he's not taking looks away? You want to talk about Kelsey's taking looks away? Look at Robert Tonyan, breakout star, guy had 11 touchdowns. Come on, you can't say Kelsey's going to take looks and Tonyan's not going to take some looks.
You think he's a breakout star this year?
He was last year.
Last year breakout for tight ends, but he still finished way out of the top 5.
He had the most touchdowns for tight ends.
He wasn't. He didn't produce at all. There's no way he was in his top 5.
Yeah.
He was on first half of the season. He did great, and then he did nothing. Isn't that what happened?
Oh, well, that's maybe I'm a little biased because he won me a lot of money, but I mean, guy was unbelievable, unstoppable. He's got a vision board up to manifest his goals. You don't think his next goal is to be better than Devontae Adams?
Yeah, that could be a goal, but it's not going to happen.
No,
never.
I don't know, dude. It's Tyreek. I mean, okay. I honestly think I'm looking at their games played. They're relatively similar, to be honest. I was going to try to finagle that in there. They both played 12 games in 2019. One less game for Devontae last year, but also a couple more touchdowns. So, I mean, again, it is a toss-up. I mean, I love Tyreek Hill, the consistency that he's got, the quarterback that he's tied to. It's just, again, you can flip the cushion on him either way. We're not going to kick you off our podcast for choosing either one, but I think it's Hill. It's got to be Hill.
Yeah, it's Devontae. All right, so next up, let's go receiver again. Let's finish off the receivers. We got some tough ones. We didn't go with the easy sleepers or any of that. We're going with some tough nitty gritty stuff here.
This is hard knocks right here. This is the real hard knocks.
Yeah.
Hard knock life.
So next up, we have Keenan Allen versus CeeDee Lamb. Keenan Allen versus CeeDee Lamb. Who do you like better this year?
Boy, I was a big Keenan Allen guy coming out of UCLA. Shocked that he went third round, I think. The Chargers, unbelievable route runner. Guy's just insane. The route tree is basically like a massive willow. He's got so many different routes he can run. And connected to a fantastic quarterback, Justin Herbert. Sure, no qualms about that. But when you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys offense and the Dallas Cowboys defense, I think CeeDee Lamb might be the better play this year. One, because you got to see how CeeDee Lamb played last year with Andy Dalton, and that ridiculous catch that he made in the end zone, where he's like faking this way, faking that way. I'm going to catch the, I'm going to ball that. That one of the best catches I've ever seen. But you got Dak, who's now comeback player of the year. He's going to throw for maybe 5,000 yards because also the defense is very, very poor. So you kind of got that perfect fantasy mashup where your defense is going to give up a lot of points. You could be playing from behind a lot. We saw that from Dallas the last, 2 years, where Dak's going to get his yards in garbage time, and some of that's got to be going to CeeDee Lamb. And you saw how he played as a rookie. And that sophomore year, you see a lot of wide receivers, they start to step up. And Keenan Allen, he's starting to get it. He's been around for a while. So I know they're still the number one guy. They don't really have another true number one to come in. That's maybe the only fault that gets CeeDee Lamb, because he got so much mouths to feed with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be the guy. And I think that's the guy you probably take your bet on.
Well, that's perfect because I want Keenan Allen. He still has Amari Cooper. He still has the Pollard Elliott duo who are going to catch passes too. Dalton Schultz, or the other tight end is, I can't think of it right now.
Like Jarwin, I think.
Jarwin, that's it, Blake. And I think Keenan Allen just has way more of an opportunity. Like you said, Herbert is amazing. I'm going to talk about Dak quickly. I think he was on pace to break the passing record before he got hurt. So CeeDee's a fantastic choice. Yeah. So I think he was right before the injury. But once again, too many mouths to feed. CeeDee Lamb's been flying up draft boards, but he, I think, is going too far passing Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's been slept on a lot. Like last year, I think I got him the 5th, and he killed it for me. Something ridiculous. He is going to get a lot of options. The other receiving option is Mike Always Hurt Williams. So I'm sure he's going to be always hurt this year again.
That's true.
Unfortunately, their running back gets a lot of catches because he's so good. But I really do think people like Roundtree Justin Jackson are going to cut into the goal line / maybe short yardage first down situations. So I think in the end zone, when you don't have Eckler to pass off to, you're going to target Keenan Allen.
Sure.
Especially when Mike Williams is hurt again. So that's where I'm going.
To be seen. Yet to be seen.
Yeah.
This is the year.
He is already hurt, though. I'm saying he missed practice.
Oh, is he? Okay, perfect. So, I mean, now you can. I'll flip the cushion back to me quick. I do agree with a lot of things that you're saying. Now, how many times have we seen a wide receiver get bottled up? They don't have another guy to take looks off of them. I know we just kind of did the whole thing with Kelsey and Tunyon and taking looks off of Adams and Hill. So, hey, you got Mike Always Hurt Williams and Eckler. He was hurt all year last year, basically pretty much. I got burned about that. So now you got Keenan Allen, and hey, you're going to be playing the Denver team. Justin Simmons is there. They only lost Chris Harris. They got some good talent in the AFC West that I think that could cover him. And if he's completely bottled up or, hampered, because he's always not been the healthiest, maybe he gets shot down and he doesn't get the looks. Well, okay, you still got Amari Cooper over here and the X. You got CeeDee Lamb and the Y. And hey, Cooper's covered. Let's go look at Lamb. It's how many times have you seen that? Like almost like a juju when Antonio Brown was in Pittsburgh. He had that unreal rookie year, that kind of thing where is he number one? It could be one of those situations where it's almost a good thing there's too many mouths to feed.
Yeah. So I do think CeeDee Lamb's going to be the number one receiver in Dallas this year, especially since Amari's already hurt. But last year, when it was Herbert's first year, he really relied on Keenan Allen. He found a way to get open, basically forced it to him, but in a good way where he didn't throw a lot of picks. The tight end that left to the Patriots, what's his name?
Hunter Henry.
Hunter, yeah. So he's gone to. That's a huge amount of targets.
Sure.
They have Cook now. Is it Cook?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, it is Cook.
Yeah. So Cook's in there, a little worse. Still a good option for a team. But Keenan Allen found a way to get open until the last 2-3 games of the season, I think, where he did get hurt. And that's when their offense really sputtered. So with him, they're amazing. They find a way to get him the ball, and he wins games.
Hey, that's a good argument there, Dan, and not hard pressed. I did love Keenan Allen coming out of UCLA. I think he's still a great player, but sometimes new is always better. CeeDee Lamb, that young player, sophomore year, light me up some lamb sauce because I'm gonna be eating that up with a Zeke.
Perfect. Eat the W's with Winston.
Jameis Winston. Okay, how do you do that so fast? I gotta hey, quick shout out, Jameis Winston looks a little more poised. Looks his interviews are hilarious, and I'm kind of pulling for that guy. I think he's not the same dude he was coming out of Florida State.
I still don't think he starts because Peyton thinks he thinks he's just smarter than everyone else.
It's just, what do you think? It's Taysom Hill?
It's going to be a Hill, and they're just going to do gadget plays the whole year.
All over the place. I mean, that's not a bad call, but don't you want to see another 35,000?
I do. And I don't want to see Taysom Hill ruin Kamara again, so that would be good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That we should have gone. Well, maybe next week we'll go on to Kamara because that's a legitimate worry. I mean, seriously, he's a fantastic running back. But did you see the weeks that Hill was there? It was terrible.
Yeah. And then the one, was it like against Minnesota where he went off, but mostly he did nothing?
I think it was, yeah.
It might have been. I don't know.
Wasn't it him and Cook just sharing touchdown after touchdown? I think Kamara had 6 touchdowns and Cook had 3 or something. Was that game or was that a different game? I think it was.
That was probably it. Either way, we got to get to the next one. And that does have the same team involved with Minnesota. So we have another tough call with Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown, some young receivers again.
Tough call.
It is a tough call. Here. Who do you prefer to take? Me? Okay.
Well, yeah, you go.
All right, so I think Justin Jefferson is going to have a better year than A.J. Brown. I wouldn't have said that if Julio didn't go to Tennessee. I would have thought A.J. Brown would have been better, but just the fact that he's there taking targets, Derrick Henry's always there. I just think Justin Jefferson's going to have more options because he showed what he can do even with Adam Thielen. I have not seen A.J. Brown with Julio down by the schoolyard, so we have to make sure that I go with consistency. Does he match what the amazing rookie year he had? Tough. He might hit it, but it's hard to beat it. All those yards and touchdowns he's got, but I still think it's a better choice, safer choice to pick Jefferson over A.J. Brown because of the Julio.
Because of the Julio. Okay. All right. Anything else to add real quick about Justin Jefferson?
Good player. Great player. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Kirk Cousins has sneaky good passing yards every year. The issue is he's got an awesome running back in Cook that usually gets the touchdowns, but the amount of yards they get, those receivers, is fantastic. I think Thielen actually also falls off a map this year, and Jefferson takes over a whole lot more. So good options, a lot more eating for Jefferson. How do they use Cook? If they use more running, but the amount of times they passed last year, I think he's going to have a really good opportunity to reproduce those numbers.
Okay, it's just interesting. I'm really glad you went with Justin Jefferson because I'm absolutely going with AJ Brown. Uh, I one of those guys where I like CeeDee Lamb. I'm happy that to have that second wide receiver kind of share the load. And you just said yourself, Adam Thielen's going to drop off of Matt. I think that he's kind of getting up there, and I don't really trust Kirk Cousins unless he's playing 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins, okay. Everybody else, I'm not I don't like that.
Is that a thing? So he's good at 1 p.m. You said?
What 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins? He is better. Look it up than prime time stuff. It's 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins is the one you want if you're going to start Kirk Cousins. That's the one.
So that's like Andy Dalton under the lights.
Exactly right.
Oh,
exactly. Wow. So I'm going with AJ Brown. He played 2 less games last year than Justin Jefferson. I mean, okay, let's start off with Justin Jefferson. Hello, player. 1,400 yards, though. Do you really think he's going to do that again on the Vikings? 1,400 yards on 88 catches?
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to – no, I don't know if that's – you're probably looking at some regression. A.J. Brown was hampered with some injuries. He played 14 games, still had 1,100 yards, had 3 more touchdowns than Justin Jefferson. He had a little bit less receptions, but that's just because they run so much with Derrick Henry, and they also run a ton in Minnesota with Cook. So you're looking in your 3rd year with AJ Brown, 2nd year with Justin Jefferson. I mean, they're both up and coming. It's gonna be tight. The reason I'm taking Brown is because Julio is actually in Tennessee, and I know how you had said that AJ Brown, you would have taken him if Julio wasn't. I'm going the other way. Jonnu Smith, he's gone. Corey Davis, he's gone. They bring in Julio. Obviously, he's going to take a lot of the probably number 1 corners, I'd say. They're going to be like, oh, shit, we got to stop Julio. You know how many times that guy's been stopped inside the 5-yard line? This could even be a thing for getting Derrick Henry first overall, because how many times he's been stopped inside like the 5 or 10 where they can just run in with Henry. But I think A.J. Brown's going to be that guy, 11 touchdowns. If he stays healthy all 16, 17 games, he's going to get up to that 1,300-yard mark where Jefferson already was. And I think Tannehill is a more viable option than Kirk Cousins. I fully do believe that. And I think that they're not going to shy away from the run game as much. So that's probably the only detriment I have to A.J. Brown. But I think you can light A.J. Brown up as another 1 wide receiver on your fantasy team. Justin Jefferson, more borderline number 2, number 1 kind of there. Both decent options, but A.J. Brown's absolutely the guy you want to go after. Tennessee's going to be a hell of a team, and it's going to be A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm. So I actually read something pretty good that Tennessee actually passed more than the Cleveland Browns.
That's not surprising.
Ran the most, I think. No, maybe ran the most and passed less than Cleveland Browns. One of those things.
I think that's what you want to do with Baker.
Yeah.
I think you want to do those rollouts. I think you want to utilize both Chubb and Hunt. I was an absolute idiot for not drafting Hunt after I drafted Chubb in the 1st round last year. It fucked me. But yeah, I'm not surprising. I think Chubb. I mean, what's it? It's silly. It's like Jamal Charles numbers. It's like yards per carry. It's insane. And then his number of, I think 20 plus scampers, 20-yard scampers or more. I think he had like something silly like 10 to 15 or 15 to 20, and he was like 10 more than the next closest guy. I think Chubb's definitely that dude. But I mean, when you can sub him in with a guy that we were all drafting in the 1st round on Kansas City, it's just that's sick. That's sick for the Browns. I think I had them number 1, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. My running backs last year were Saquon and James Conner. Still made the finals, so it worked out.
Yeah, I mean,
either way.
Person candidate for CFL in person in the league.
Tannehill's definitely. I like him a lot this year. Really good, but
I just love Tennessee in general.
Yeah, they're a good fantasy option. Good. So those are the receivers.
Wrap up the receivers. You want to do some running backs there?
Yeah, it's just the running backs. I think first on the list is one I just talked about, actually. So we got Saquon versus JT.
Some Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
I think I got
So
to side. I'll let me start.
perfect. Okay. Well, let's see who you pick.
Oh, I wonder, Dan, because I'm pretty sure I talked about him quickly last podcast, the AFC. If you haven't heard that, go back. Episode 4 is the one we did AFC on. Like
5.
I'm enamored. It's a 5. This is not 7. This
This
is
is
6.
4
Oh, I'm messing
or
up.
5 was 2 parts, so I just made it 6.
5 and 6. Okay, so go back to episode 5. That's our AFC coverage. I'm enamored with Jonathan Taylor. I said I was a little bit less because Carson Wentz is hurt, Quentin Nelson hurt. Both are looking good. Apparently, Wentz is out there running around, slinging some footballs. Nelson looking good the same. I think now that both of them are healthy, I said Jonathan Taylor was looking at like my number 4, number 5 spot, and maybe even earlier from week 11 or 12 and on, Jonathan Taylor was the number 1 running back in points per game. He's an absolute monster. He's sitting down on his ADP is 13, sitting on Yahoo. It's absolutely insane. Barkley's at 8, so there's like a 5-gap jump. You can almost like on the turn, you could get like a Hill or an Adams, and then potentially maybe a Taylor at the back that turn. Unless I'm in your league, then I'm probably snatching them before the turn. This guy is an absolute beast, a bell cow of a back. This team is gonna make a run. The defense is good. They're gonna want to run out games. He's gonna get 300 carries. Barkley, you saw it last year. The guy is injury prone. Guy might have thighs like AJ Dillon and tree trunks, but Jonathan Taylor so far looks like a beast. 1,500 yards, I think, probably 13 to 15 touchdowns behind that O-line. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to take that step up in a sophomore season. I think you could probably put him in top 3 running backs to take next year. That is how bold I'm going with Jonathan Taylor. He might lead the league in rushing. I think I said the last time. He will lead the league in rushing if he stays healthy. Book it, Jonathan Taylor.
Well, lots of positives with the Colts, but that's good for a coach to have all those things. But unfortunately for fantasy, there are guys like Naheem Hines, Marlon Mack coming back.
Who? Are you kidding
Someone
me?
who's going to cut into Jonathan Taylor's production, that's who, and steal some nice, easy passes for touchdowns. But
Who?
Saquon, one of the best running backs of our generation, hasn't played the most, but he's damn talented. That guy can carry his team, and he has for a while. Last year was the first big injury. I found out the hard way. Team isn't the best. O-line isn't the best. But the problem is Daniel Jones has to produce this year or he's toast. They're drafting another quarterback in New York.
They got Mike Glennon right up his ass.
Yeah. So Glennon playing peekaboo with his asshole is gonna make him go in and try harder. I think Saquon's gonna have to carry a huge load, and he's gonna have to play excellently. I think they were very careful with his injury. He wants to get back. He wants to get paid big by producing big. He's gonna come back, get all the catches, get all the runs for that team, and he's going to go and do what Wayne Gallman did last year for his team. After his team wakes up, realizes how they have to block and stuff, he's going to go out, put up huge numbers in a really shitty division. Let's not forget about that.
Hey, shout out to Gallman. Yeah, he had a decent season last year coming in for Barkley. But, I mean, looking at this team, this New York Giants team, God, I don't trust Danny Dimes. They brought in Kenny Galladay. He's hurt. Sterling Shepard, Evan, like the team doesn't excite me. And I know they got a really good D, and maybe that is like what their plan is, like the Colts. So, got good D, let's run the clock out kind of thing. But I don't think they have the firepower that'll keep them in games if they absolutely have to get in a shootout. I think that the Colts are probably more adapt to that, and I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be the reason why. Nothing wrong with Saquon Barkley. If he can stay healthy, I mean, he was going to be the average first pick a couple of years ago before McCaffrey went absolute bonkers. But it's a time. It's Jonathan Taylor's time. Saquon coming off that injury. You never know. I didn't see him. Did he play week 1 for preseason for the Giants? Did you see?
I don't think he's sniffed field yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No,
So
they'd probably hold him back.
it just means, yeah, it's just hurt first play next time. That's all that means.
Yeah. So whether you like, I think it really is a committee. I think it's gonna be a committee, or do you want to risk an injury? Naheem Hines, Marlon Mack was on pace for some great stuff. Jonathan Taylor didn't start because of Marlon Mack. I think he's going to be a problem. So I'm worried about both these guys. I think Saquon still has the safer floor.
No, Dan, I got to interrupt. He had 232 attempts last year in his rookie season.
Yeah, but after Marlon Mack went out.
He's sucking dick.
Well, yeah, and Naheem Hines was still there stealing the touchdowns. He had lots of attempts. A lot of attempts, but Taylor didn't do anything from until week 14 and over, I think.
Oh, no. 5 yards a carry, 11 tutties. 11 tutties, almost 1,200 yards. The only thing is he only had 36 receptions. I think Hines is going to be a third down kind of back-ish, but I don't know. Saquon doesn't catch that many balls.
Yeah, no, he does. He does it all. And they still have Darius Slade and they still have Evan Ingram. Both not great, but they're still serviceable.
Yeah, not even. Actually, I'm an idiot. Shout out me, everybody. That hands up.
For what?
The receptions, I was on Barkley. He had 91 his first rookie season.
He is the team. He's like the Rick Nash back when Columbus Blue Jackets had him. Just did everything.
61.
Yeah.
He just undressing 2 guys before going backhand shelf.
Yeah. But once again, they're both end of the first round. They were number 2, number 4 in a lot of rankings way back before the preseason. Now they're settling in at 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they are where they should be, and they're there for a reason. So not a bad option there, but pick whichever one you are convinced by.
If you are playing a PPR, okay, I'll give the nod to Barkley. Just because of the receptions.
Yes, we are talking standard.
It's standard. It's JT.
Mm-hmm. So next we have a newbie running back, Najee Harris or Austin Eckler. So off the bat, Eckler if it's PPR, but we're talking standard here. Standard. So who do you prefer in standard, Connor?
Oh God! Because we had this plan, Dan, I'm taking Austin Eckler standard.
You talk about whoever you want to, because you can go either way with these guys. You guys are right there, ADP wise.
It's true. They are right there. I think I banged the drum for Najee in the AFC episode because he drove 9 hours to go cheer on his Alabama Pro Days. So I'm all about Najee and him being a clubhouse guy, but the Steelers are a dog shit team. They're going to finish last in the AFC North. So I'm going Austin Eckler, even in standard. I'm going to take him. The guy, I'm going to give him a pass for last season because he was injured. That hammy was a big problem. I mean, okay, you're not in PPR. The guy catches so many balls in the backfield. Even without the catches, this dude's going to put up so many scrimmage yards. It's going to be like a buffed up Darren Sproles minus the punt returns. It's going to be basically think of all day Adrian Peterson and Saquon Barkley catching the ball. It's just like the whole thing's going to happen. And you're attached to Justin Herbert. You mentioned it yourself, my man, that if he's not looking at Eckler, it's going to Allen, but he is going to be going to Eckler. So much of the offense can run through this guy, and he still put up I'm pretty sure a good yards per carry last year. I actually had drafted him, but he spent most of the time on my bench because the guy was so injured. But that team's looking good. Najee, you don't really know with rookie running backs. Sometimes they go off. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a bust. And that Pittsburgh team, I don't know. They're you saw James Conner last year. You had him. I don't know how much Najee's gonna upgrade that. We'll see. But you've seen what Eckler can do as long as he stays healthy. And the Chargers are going to be a very difficult team to play against, and Eckler's going to be a big part of that.
Well, James Conner did fail badly last year. I think the team failed badly in general. They're saying the O-line's worse. I don't know. I trust one of the best
The O-line's
organizations in the
worse.
Yeah, but they have some of the best drafting. They don't usually sign free agents. They know what they're doing. And Najee Harris, like you said, really good team guy, but he's actually he's a really good running back. James Conner was a
Sure.
great feel-good story. He did not produce because, hey, look, this guy, I'm not going to make fun of that stuff, but oh,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome. Every game they would talk about how he's a cancer survivor. Fantastic. Good for
yeah. No,
you,
it
but
is
that doesn't make you a good running back. That's
also
why
true,
he's
guys.
already a backup in Arizona, right? This guy is a full 3-down back. He is going to carry the load. The passing attack is going to come back. Deontay Johnson's going to actually catch balls. Chase Claypool is going to make the second-year jump. Juju Smith-Schuster's still there, still really good. Took another 1-year deal so he can stay there and prove it, so get a better one. I think they're going to do a whole lot of really good stuff. They got that new tight end who might be the next big thing. Is it Freiermuth? Is that the name, or is that the guy on the Saints?
The next big thing, tight end. I was thinking you were talking Kyle Pitts on Atlanta.
Yeah, he is really good, but I think this guy's a sleeper or something. Either way,
Oh,
for Pittsburgh, Big Ben's back. Big Ben's healthy. Big Ben's got to do
man,
something, or
come
else he's
on!
done. This is probably, I'm
It's
gonna
the
guess it's his last
it's the
year.
it's the Dewey Haskins show, baby. Yeah, Ben, although is going to blow up if not in the preseason, week 1. Mason Rudolph's going to get a helmet to the face, and it's going to be Dewey Haskins time, and the Steelers are going to be trash. Everybody say it with me. Trash. They're going to be bad. They're going to go something dumb like 6 and what, 13, 4, 12, 11, 6 and 11. Math's hard. And they're going to be last in the AFC North. And it's not going to be any part of Najee Harris's problem because I think he's going to be a good running back coming out of Alabama. But let's just go and look at Alabama running backs for a second. I'm going to get the first one out of the way. Derrick Henry. Okay, sure. The next one, Homer, Sean Alexander. Okay, I get it. But after that, you're looking at like Mark Ingram, solid career, sure. Eddie Lacy, battle. TJ Yeldon, bust. Trent Richardson, he's a bust. Damian Harris can't stay on the field. It's just, you don't, for some reason, you see Alabama defensive players come out and just ball out, but the offensive players don't always completely translate. Najee Harris, I'm really hoping for this dude. I want you to ball out. I really hope that you do. Prove me wrong, but it's not going to be Najee. It's going to be Austin Eckler.
Yeah, the standard part of this still has been leaning Harris because they're already saying Eckler is not going to get goal line carries. Roundtree had a fantastic first preseason game. He's coming out
Roundtree.
and showing why he can be a goal line guy. Hey, coaches don't care about fantasy. That's a big problem with fantasy
You
football.
forget Lance Lynn is not calling plays this year. It's not
Yeah.
Eckler will get the ball.
Yeah, so they're going to want to put in the best opportunity to get points because that's what they want. And that's going to be a bigger guy. It's going to be a stronger guy. That's going to be a guy that just wants to helmet down,
And Justin
kill the
Jackson's a stronger
defense.
guy. I watched him last year. He didn't look as strong. I think Eckler low to the ground, very just powering through. He not a plotter. He'll get there.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
him the ball. Give him the ball. Trust him.
Eckler's very good. But those goal line carries, like that's my worry. That's the difference in points for
I mean,
me.
bread and butter, yeah, for the standard, especially the touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I
So
mean, when you're last in the AFC North, you're not going to get a lot of touchdowns. So take Austin Eckler.
their defense is too good to be last. Uh,
They only got his Watt and Fitzpatrick and Watt's holding in. So
yeah, they're really solid. They're really good. They did not need who's the guy that went to the Titans, the outside linebacker.
oh Gosh,
What's his name?
they're escaping right now.
Something.
Yeah, it's not coming to me.
Yeah, I'll remember later, I'm sure. But let's talk about the next one. Finish off the third tandem of running backs we're talking about. We're comparing. We have Joe Mixon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So,
I think I went first last time. Dan, you want to go first on this one?
sure. So once again, I'm not a fan of committees, and I think that's the problem with Clyde. So I'm going to go with Joe Mixon. Same ADP, but he has a straight line to playing almost every snap. Gio Bernard gone to Tampa Bay to confuse that running back room up even more. Joe Mixon is going to be there. He's produced at a high level. Like a lot of the other running backs here, injury issues. Could he get injured? Hopefully not. Do they have a better offense? Yes, they do. So I think he's going to benefit from that. He's going to get a lot of good yardage. He's going to get a lot more touchdowns. That's going to give you a lot more points. I just don't think Clyde has that 3-down role yet. Maybe never will. Kansas City is a team that just wants to win. They're not worried about getting one guy in. They showed that last year, playing a whole bunch of different players. So that's why I would pick Joe Mixon instead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's very interesting. I gotta just double back real quick. I think he said something about the Cincinnati Bengals having a better offense than the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm pretty sure that came out of your mouth. Run it back.
Better offense this year.
This year, the Bengals?
No, like they have a better offense than they did.
Oh,
that's what I
okay,
meant.
I got it.
Yeah, not better than KC.
No, I had to almost hit my line. Now he definitely does have a better offense than last year. I think I took Joe Mixon last year. Mistake, without a doubt. I think he is a baller. The guy can still play, and he just doesn't get a lot of help from the O-line. Hopefully the Jamar Chase edition and the next steps for hopefully T. Higgins, Boyd, and Burrow all together. I think the offense can definitely take some leaps and bounds. The reason I'm going to side with Clyde Edwards-Helaire is because I don't think he's going to be in a committee. I know they still have Darrell Williams behind them and Darwin Thompson, I guess. And they've shown they can run the ball pretty effectively, but you don't spend a first-round pick on a running back just to kind of toss him to the sides like that. You also got rid of Eric Fisher, and I can't remember who else they lost on the line, but they brought in Orlando Brown and Joe Tooney. Fuck, you can just run Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the left side, and those guys are going to block literally all the defense by themselves, and you can just scamper 5 yards every single time.
Yeah, they really did steal. They really did steal Orlando there. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they get Tardif back, like that line's going to be pretty good. I mean, you got Tyreek to stretch. I think that running backs are definitely a beneficiary of how good your offense can be. You never know how many times they might be stuck down to the inside the 5. Maybe he vultures a couple of touchdowns here and there. I don't think it's time to give up on Clyde Edwards-Helaire yet, but you have kind of seen the ceiling and also the floor of Joe Mixon, and it's a pretty big, vast difference. Now, last year I know a lot of people probably got burned by Clyde. They probably drafted him 8, 9, somewhere around that near the turn, thinking, hey, I'm set. This guy should probably be like a top 5 because he's in this beast offense. So, if you got burned, I don't blame you for going the other way, but look at this guy's ADP and where he is now and where you expect him to be. I think you have the most ceiling with Clyde Edwards-Helaire rather than Joe Mixon. I think that you give him one more shot, especially with Jesus, who's gone? Who you just said was gone? No, you said Gio Bernard. Wrong team. I just said Darrell Williams, Darwin Thompson. They don't scare me. That's how much I forgot that there's nobody else behind him.
He's on the Chicago now. Whoever you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
But who?
Oh, well, there's also. I mean, they had Bell too, but Bell was like nothing, and then
yes.
So was Shady. Like Shady wasn't much either. Like it was just. I think. I mean, when you got an offense that talented, like you got to get some points, but also that could cap. I mean, you're really flipping the cushion on me on this one, Dan. I'm arguing against myself right here. I feel like I'm Jeff Dunham arguing with myself. But I think that the upside for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, for me, is too much to pass on for a guy like Joe Mixon.
Yeah. The committee worries me. They also have Jerick McKinnon now. Used to be on San Fran.
Oh,
But
shout out!
got
I didn't
hurt.
see it. Didn't see it on the depth chart.
Yeah. So he's
Shout out!
going to be
He's a solid
good.
player.
Solid contributor. We'll see if he can get back from his injury. Injuries to running backs are tough because of how much they have to go through. But
Well, they take such a beating.
yeah,
And
and Damian Williams was the other one. Damian Williams has gone to Chicago, which that is good for him. I think he's going to make the jump. I would never have taken Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round last year. I think he's still a good running back. He's going to make that jump. That's the big second-year jump that a lot of people go through. The expectations were too high.
They were phenomenally high. It was
too high.
Insane. I was one of the guys that was beat the drum. Thankfully, I guess somebody beat me to the punch last year in our league. But yeah, I think he will make that jump. And again, you're tied to such a good offense. Such a good offense. Like you're looking at Kansas City and Cincinnati, they're like polar opposites basically from last year. And it's just, to me, it's night and day. I also had Joe Mixon last year, so maybe that's why I might be a little bit biased, but it's night and day.
Yeah, I would not hate picking any of these guys. I think Mixon, if I had to choose, I'd pick Mixon because what have you done for me lately? He's actually done it in the past, so team's gotten better, so that's why I'd pick him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think, will do a lot better. Could even be a three down guy if McKinnon can't come out and do good. Darrell Williams, Damian was his big competition. He's gone, so he could do very well. So there you go. There's the running backs. Who do you prefer? Which side do you like? Lots of love for all of these guys. Yeah.
No, I don't have love for you, Dan. I think I dueled you this time. You got me in CFL. Take the guys that I discussed.
Yeah. My guys will be better by the end.
And don't forget that the Pittsburgh Steelers are trash.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So what do we got next? Right, what do we got next for Couch's Corner here?
Well, let's end off on another little segment that I have here for you. It's kind of similar to what we just did a little bit. I'm going to give you stats of players for the respective positions. If you can guess who they are, that's amazing. Without looking at stats, I know you got that big brain over there. If you can try to guess who they are, that'd be huge. That'd be big points for you. If not, I'll tell you the names, and then we'll see if you're surprised. We'll see who you kind of lean towards. We've discussed maybe a couple of these guys. I don't know. But I'll start off with some quarterbacks here. So quarterback A. This quarterback has 4,336 yards last year, 66.6% completion. He had 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with a 7.3 yards pass attempt. He is right now the quarterback 7 with the other quarterback B. So he had 4,336 yards. That was quarterback A to 4,265 yards. So very, very close in yards. This second quarterback had 35 touchdowns, 4 more touchdowns than A, and 13 interceptions, 3 more touchdowns than A, but an 8.3 yards pass attempt. And he's sitting actually at quarterback 18.
Wow.
So some stats that are very, very close, if not maybe a little bit better. But this quarterback, he's fallen down a little bit down the ADP for quarterback 18, where quarterback A is at number 7. Could you have any guesses at all?
Okay, so is there any rushing stats at all, or is that omitted because it's too obvious?
It is omitted, but I don't know if that's going to be even an issue, Dan. I'll give you that hint.
Because I was thinking like, oh, it's going to be a big running stat, and I would have picked Tannehill.
Sure.
But yeah, it's not in play because he's actually a sneaky good runner. Cuts into Derrick
Henry. He really is actually. Yeah, he lays it out too.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess the first one's Justin Herbert, and the second one's one's Baker Mayfield.
Oh, okay. So I got at least you got one.
Okay.
I think the least you guess might be better because that's how good you are. So yes, and quarterback A is Justin Herbert. He's in that quarterback 7, had a hell of a year. Quarterback 18, quarterback B. You talked about it earlier. Sneaky good, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kirk
That's my
Cousins
second
sitting
choice.
at quarterback. Yeah, at 18 and had just slightly less yards, but more touchdowns, slightly more interceptions. But that yards per attempt, 8.3, kind of surprised me. That jumped out to me for Kirk Cousins. I didn't think he slung the ball like that.
Yeah, he is sneaky good. He's just sometimes has some bad games, and sometimes Dalvin Cook just gets 5 touchdowns and just ruins the paper for him. But with someone like Eckler, Herbert's always going to produce because even if Eckler's scoring, sometimes Herbert's scoring. So I can see
Right.
that difference right there.
Okay, so give me your quick decision on would you rather have Herbert at 7 or Cousins at 18?
I would rather Herbert, but I always wait on quarterbacks unless Mahomes sits there for a bit.
Sure.
So if he's there, I'm guessing so like 7th quarterback on the board. I think he can sit there for a while. Someone might want to jump on him. I would say I'd take him in the 7th round.
Sure.
After my team's
Somewhere
all
around
lined up. So if say that's basically
you
when I
got
have a
your
team,
starters.
get my quarterback. I think Herbert's gonna have a fantastic year. Um, Kirk Cousins is gonna be on the waiver wire. Depending what kind of league you're in, 12-team league, I think he's still on
Maybe.
the waiver wire, right? Um,
Yeah, I think for sure.
yeah. So I would
How
I
many
would still
backups take? I don't know. Also, just sorry to interject. I would be hard pressed to imagine that Herbert's still sitting there, just because feel like somebody's going to take that risk on. Hey, this guy had a phenomenal rookie season. He's looking like he's the next big thing. Probably going to take that next leap. Let's get ahead of the game. We'll take him. Maybe leave I'm punting tight ends or I'm punting flex or something like that. Where like, hey, I'll just leave that other guy. Let's go get my quarterback that I want. So I don't know if
yeah.
he's going to be sitting there, but I mean, I'm with you actually. When I was supposed to set this up, yeah, I would be taking Justin Herbert too.
Yeah, the thing is like Tannehill would still be there. I'd take him exactly probably the same scenario as him. Probably gonna produce as
Sure.
much.
Yep.
Who else still be there? I'm assuming
Definitely
the Philly quarterback's still going to be there. I'm not that big on him, but
Jalen Hurts.
yeah.
Best quarterback, week 14 to 16. You had him. You're making a championship run.
No, I had Taysom Hill and Tannehill.
But quick, okay, Philly defense can be fucking terrible. Jalen Hurts, the guy can run. He's got Devontae Smith. You still got Zach Ertz there. He never left.
Yeah.
You got shout out JJ Arceo-Whiteside for getting picked before DK Metcalf. You still got him in town. You see the Jalen Reagor catch yesterday?
I did not know.
It was in practice. So the Eagles were playing the Patriots in practice or something, and Reagor went absolutely climbed the ladder, just climbed the ladder, one-handed in the corner of the end zone over some Patriots DB who's probably cut now because of that. And he made it. Eagles, maybe the offense starts to get going, and Hurts is going to be a big part of that. Or they trade for Deshaun Watson.
I don't think he's playing this year, but
No, maybe
he
ever.
is better, but might not touch the field this year. Yeah, so good. I don't want to talk about other players because we're supposed to talk about those two. Who else do you have? What other stats do you got for me?
Okay, so let's move on to a running back or running backs with the running back position. So this running back A had 170 carries last year for 795 yards, 4.7 per clip, 11 tutties, 36 receptions for 247 yards, and finished, he's sitting right around RB12 right now in his ADP. The next one, RB2, he's 141 carries last year, 681 yards, 5 touchdowns, 37 receptions, 287 yards, 4 touchdowns, sitting at about RB20. Do you have any guesses at all for those two players? It's a little bit tougher, I think.
It is.
But
Like
I gave you.
So, receptions bugs me here. I'm gonna say J.K. Dobbins is the first one. No.
No.
Okay. And
Good guess, though.
was that the second one though?
No.
Okay, good. And then I'll just guess the second one would be. Wait, how many receptions for the second one?
37 for 287.
Darn. Okay, I'm stuck between. It's gonna be Jacobs. I'm gonna say Chris Carson.
Yeah, you actually got it. Holy
Okay.
shit! I did not think you were gonna get that. You're not gonna. Okay, I know Homer, but I thought the injuries and how many carries he had would kind of throw you off. So you're saying that Chris Carson is the second running back I was talking about. 141 carries last year, kind of shortened season. 681 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's sitting about RB20 on the Seattle Seahawks. But the first one with 170 carries, about 800 yards, 11 tutties was Antonio Gibson on the Washington football team. I
Nice.
think these guys, I think they should be a little closer than where they're at. Honest, Phil coming or Phil, geez, Pete Carroll coming out. Yeah, Phil Carroll. Pete Carroll coming out saying, we had philosophical differences. That's how I got the philosophical differences with Schottenheimer. They wanted to run a bit more rather than let Russ cook. So I think Carson being healthy again, I think he's going to outproduce that RB20 that he's sitting at. Antonio Gibson, banging that drum again for him. Big fan of Antonio Gibson. I think the football team are going to be great, and I really do think that he's going to be a guy, Antonio Gibson. There's a stat last year, it's escaping right now, something similar like the Chubb 20-plus yard runs. So he had something crazy. But I think those two guys are similar, but the ADP, I guess, a little whack there. Do you like Antonio Gibson more or Chris Carson more?
Like based on draft position?
Yeah, let's go based on draft position. Let's say Antonio Gibson at the moment where I'm looking, it says Gibson's at 18 and Carson's sitting at 30, so you can get him a whole round later.
Yeah. So I was gonna say I do really like Antonio Gibson. Has a way better offense this year, and he's gonna benefit. Ryan Fitzpatrick, very smart, is gonna know how to control the game. Not gonna have to run for his life every play, and they're just gonna stack the box because Terry McLaurin's hurt or something. Even if he's hurt, Fitzpatrick's going to find his guys. They have Curtis Samuel now. Logan Thomas is probably still going to do pretty well. He's 30 now. They're going to be a better team. No more distraction. The name change is a thing of the past. And
I think they just actually settled on like 18 names or something, right?
Oh, wow.
Today. Yeah, I think they came down to like a final 8, and I think they're going to come down to a final 3 later on. I don't have it in front of me with the team names, but it'd be interesting to see what they're going to change it to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'll take a look at that. Like, I'm a real fan of Chris Carson. I think you can actually have both of them because the end of round 2, round 3 is when a lot of receivers get picked. So if he falls in my lap again, if I'm on, like, I don't know, 5th pick, 6th pick, that's the turn. It's going back and around. You can totally get both guys. Absolutely.
Could you imagine like a...
So that can be like a Kamara.
A running back right off the top?
That could be Kamara, Gibson, and Carson right there. Like, that's really good.
That sounds like a feisty lineup to me, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, people doubt Gibson. They're already saying he's going to be in a CMC role too. So is that going to happen? I doubt it. How can you reproduce that in Carolina where no matter how bad they are, he still does stuff? But that is what he did. Yeah. I had Gibson brought me to that championship, right, before the injury.
He's a phenomenal player. Pack and ball. Yeah. I really like Gibson as well. There's no reason why maybe, you can get both.
Yeah. So both I would get. Mixon ahead of Carson, I think. Carson, this could be Rashad Penny's year to finally play some downs. Maybe he will. I don't know.
I mean, you can only hope at what a bust of a first-round pick that was.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll see. They're a very good team. They'll come back. Tough division. I prefer Gibson in his shithole of a division.
All right. There we go. Antonio Gibson from Dan the Beef. We'll move on to wide receivers here. So this one's interesting. I think we didn't talk about one at all. The other one slightly, but to give you a couple more hints. One wide receiver, 102 receptions, 1,250 yards, 6 touchdowns. And the second wide receiver, 92 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Are they ranked the same?
There. So one was 12, the other was 17,
Oh wow.
according.
Hmm. Oh, I'm not gonna get
I'll give you.
these.
Oh, it's wide receiver is also so much harder.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting harder and harder and harder as we're going. They're sitting right now, according to Yahoo's ADP. Wide receiver A is sitting at 25. That is 102 receptions, 1250, 6 touchdowns. The other is sitting at 40 on the ADP, 92 receptions, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. Any guesses?
I'm gonna go Chris Godwin for the first one. No.
No.
Okay.
Good guess, though. No.
And the next one's lower ADP, right?
Slightly, yeah.
I don't know, Robbie Anderson.
No.
Okay.
So, hey, Rob is in one of the names. First one is Allen Robinson on the Chicago Bears. 102 receptions, kind of surprised me. 1250, 6 touchdowns. He's sitting at an ADP of 25 on the Chicago Bears. Don't know if that's going to be Andy Dalton or Justin Fields.
Probably
Wide receiver
Fields.
2 yeah, I'd hope so. That cat can ball. The second wide receiver that I've mentioned, sitting at 40, is Amari Cooper.
Oh wow.
Yeah, sitting down there, 92 receptions, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. You got Dak Prescott back. So you got A-Rob sitting there at 25 and Amari Cooper down at 40, a full round in a bit. Difference ADP. Dan, what do you say?
Ooh. I would take. I don't usually take Allen Robinson, but I would this year. Looking
Wow.
up and coming with Fields. I like Fields.
Is he going to play, though?
Either way, they have even if it's Andy Dalton, it's an improvement at quarterback. So I like that. And Darnell Mooney is good. He should also have a good year. But I think Cooper's already hurt. They're both. I think they're both kind of really good years.
Sure.
I like the later round. If you were to ask me now, say, hey, you can pick this draft pick right now. Would you want the 5th round Cooper or the 4th round Robinson or something? I don't know. I would pick Cooper.
Maybe third round, 25?
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty early.
12, 24, third. Yeah, it's third round, Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb climbing up is going to give Amari Cooper a really good value. So I would take Cooper.
Definitely.
But I do love if it was the same or I don't know, one pick one guy, I would pick Robinson, but the value in Cooper is too good to pass up.
There you go. So smart answer, Dan. Actually, I agree with what you're saying there for once in my life. The last, we're going to go to tight ends. This tight end number 1, 58 receptions, 701 yard, 7 touchdowns. The second tight end, 52 catches, 586 yards, 11 touchdowns. Let me pull up their ADP real quick for you.
Okay, second one's Tanyan.
Yeah, because I already mentioned the 11 touchdowns. He's sitting at 80 for his ADP. Tight end number 1, though, 58 receptions, 701 yards, 7 touchdowns. Who do you think this guy is?
Well, is he ahead of Tanyan in the ADP?
Yes, he's sitting at 57.
Wow. So that's got to be like Noah Fant or something.
It's an interesting guess. It's actually Mark Andrews.
Oh, okay, Mark Andrews. I'm not big on him. He's too early. Mark Andrews is way too early for his production level.
Sure, and you don't know how. A running back in football, so you really have no idea how Mark Andrews is going to do with that position deficiency there for the Ravens. But Big Bud Tunyon, won a lot of money on him. He's got the gold zone for the Packers. You're sitting down there at 80, and that's a full few rounds. Guy had 11 touchdowns. Do you think he's going to get some regression?
I don't think he reproduces, but it's fine value for if you don't have one of the top 3 tight ends. He is as good of a Hail Mary as any of them. So
absolutely.
Why would you take Mark Andrews in the 4th, 5th when you can get Tanyan in the 8th, 9th, 10th?
Sure. No, I absolutely agree with you, Dan. And even better, if you want to piggyback on top of this, Noah Fant sitting at 99.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Locke. Fant was supposed to
You
make the
guys just
jump.
like Drew Cuddy. You see his preseason?
Preseason's preseason.
Lock it in, Dan. Drew Lock.
Fant was supposed to make a jump a lot. I want to say it's been 2 years. He might have only been the year, like might have just been last year, but Fant has yet to make the jump. Jerry Judy's coming out to be fantastic. Melvin Gordon, Williams are two running backs that are going to take a lot of attention too. Maybe this is Noah Fant's time to shine. I would take either of those instead of Andrews. Fant or Tanya.
Wow. I'm completely off of Mark Andrews. That's kind of surprising. I had Mark Andrews last year. He was kind of a big bust. He had a couple games where he had like 2 touchdowns. So it was like, oh, this guy, like, he's good again. And then next week he was just okay. He had 1 catch for 5 yards and just completely fucked you. So
what's his ADP? Mark Andrews.
57, I think it was.
57. Okay. I'm just thinking who would be around there.
Well, Kyle Pitts is slightly ahead of him.
Well, not even tight ends. So let's say you're at that spot. Yeah.
Right, and you don't know, like, hey, you want maybe another wide receiver or a tight end. Like, okay, who are you going to take?
Yeah, so even below Mark Andrews, around Mark Andrews, you have the option, let's say, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray. I think Damian Harris, it's still running backs are slim then. But you got Deontay Johnson, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Robbie Anderson, Russ Wilson. I would take all those people instead of Mark Andrews at that spot, get probably the exact same production, maybe even last pick of the draft. It's a little bit of a stretch. But Baltimore doesn't pass enough. They do not pass enough for him to be worth that early.
So the Ravens have a 3-headed monster of Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards. I mean, Lamar's run for 1,000 yards. J.K.'s going to run for 1,000. Gus is going to get his handful. They're just going to kind of run and gun, smash mouth football, throw it a little over the top. They got Marquise Brown's stretching the field. Hopefully he's got a little less butterfingers. I've seen him drop way too many balls. But they also drafted Rashad Bateman. He's already hurt, but he should be okay. It's just his groin. I think he's going to be ready for week 1. So Andrews kind of looks like it's going to be a red zone threat, if anything. I don't know if he's going to be stretching up that seam like he did a couple of years ago. I'm going to be the fan of Tunyon at his ADP just because that gold zone with the Packers and that 11 touchdowns, I don't know how much regression there's going to be. But he's definitely the number 1 there. And I would be taking Tunyon over Andrews, at least for the ADP.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins in Baltimore now.
Oh, shit. I think he is.
I think that's a big red zone target, too. And that's bad news for Andrews.
It's just, good news for the Ravens. The team, they got some guys that can ball. Yeah, he's absolutely on the Ravens. He has trouble staying on the field. Let's be honest. He's missed a handful of games for the Kansas City Chiefs the last few years. But if he can stay healthy, yeah, he'll get red zone looks for sure.
Yep. Good. So good stuff. Tight end. Do you have anyone else?
Gosh, tight ends. Oh, well, I already went on Dawson Knox. Shout out Dawson Knox, winning me a lot of money. Buffalo Bills out of the red zone. Light that guy up. He draft him. Maybe don't start him, but see how he goes for the first few weeks. I think he's going to be a sleeper for the tight ends.
Good. Any other options with the yards and stuff?
Strictly for yards, or I think that's all I got. I didn't go into to kickers because they're kickers.
That's very tough.
Take them. Your last 2 picks should be defense and kickers. I rarely would, if you maybe the Seahawks 2013 D, like those special Ds, maybe go a couple of rounds ahead just because they're going to be giving up 0 points, maybe a lot of turnovers. But other than that, your defensive kickers should be 14 to 15 last rounds. Sometimes I don't even draft a kicker. Just take a guy that you really like. For example, a couple of years ago, I grabbed George Kittle in the last round. I punted kicker, and I drafted George Kittle. He blew up. That was his year. And maybe a guy gets hurt on your team that you didn't really like so much. You're able to cut him, and week 1 you're picking up a guy who's got a good matchup or something. It's just kickers are a dime a dozen. It's not like you got Koo from the Falcons who was just putting up 20 points last year, week after week.
Yeah, honestly, Justin Tucker.
You can't predict it. You just can't. I mean, you could take the offenses, but if they're really good offense, maybe it's just point afters. That's all I get.
Yeah, like
You know,
Mason
they got 5
Crosby
points.
every year.
Yeah, you want an offense that's good but not too good, right? You get to that 30-something yard
And
line.
also
Hope
won't
they
go
do.
for it on fourth down all the time like the Saints. Because I always get
Yeah.
Lutz, but the team is just awful at like helping fantasy people. They
Well,
don't
you know
care
what the
about your
saying is,
fantasy
man.
team.
No, Lutz will kick you in the nuts. That's
Yeah,
that's the team.
Lutz is sluts. All
Lutz the
right,
sluts, exactly.
but yeah, so good talk. I think we had some really good analysis. I think we helped a lot of people with their decisions, and we gave a lot of reasons why. Not just said, here's the sleeper. Here is the obvious sleeper every other analyst has talked about. We're telling you who to pick based on who's going to be right next to each other in the draft. So hopefully that helped you out.
Maybe you settled your decisions a little bit. Maybe your gut was leaning one way or the other way. Maybe one of us gave you an affirmation. Maybe the other one said, no, come back to the dark side. Or maybe
Yeah.
we just confused you more. Either way, we'll keep going with our analysis with the NFL coming up. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We can we can dive deeper and deeper as much as we want. Lots of things coming up. National Draft Day is coming up. Lots of things to talk about on Couch's Corner here. Can't wait for the next episode, Dan. Are you excited for the next episode already?
I'm excited. More fantasy football. That's right up our alley. We'll give some really good insight. Don't miss it next time on Couch's Corner.
Peace.